sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about Navy federal banking. And it happened that this news is all everywhere, and black people are not liking it. The nation's largest credit union rejected more than half of its black conventional mortgage application, and a lot of people, mostly black people, are not surprised, but they are disappointed. Things like this has really been happening to people that look like me, redlining and all that. But this one seems like redlining. And how did they know that you are not black? According to one of the women that spoke, she was like, once they see your name or see where you live and all that, if you apply, they will not, if you are black, they will not give it to you. And I am asking, why is it that this segregation is still happening to this very moment? If more than half of black people that apply couldn't get it just because they are my skin color, and most of them have higher salary, like 100 and something K monthly, yearly income, and instead of giving black people that earn more than 100K annually, they would rather give colored people that earn 60K, 50K a year, just because they just do not want to give it to black people. I am disappointed. And then when black people talk about reparations, they are going to tell you that it was long ago it happened, like you should get over it. Let's get into this video.
This video is for all of you all who run around here and say racial disparities no longer exist in systems within the United States. I give you the case of Navy Federal Credit Union. The nation's largest credit union has rejected more than half its black conventional mortgage applicants. Now, for context, let's go to the Navy Federal Credit Union website and see who is eligible for membership. To become a member, you or one of your family members or household members must have ties to the Armed Forces, DOD, which is Department of Justice, or the National Guard. In other words, everybody who's a member of the Navy Federal Credit Union has military ties. And yet and still, in a country where everyone is always running around talking about thank you for your service to military servicemen, that tie did not stop the largest credit union in this country from discriminating against black applicants. Sounds like redlining.
Thousands of other black applicants were also rejected. According to a CNN analysis of federal consumer protection data, last year, Navy Federal Credit Union only approved 48%. That's less than half of its black applicants for conventional home mortgages. White borrowers were approved more than 75% of the time. It's the biggest gap among the top 50 lenders.
And I can hear you racism deniers, you racists, you bigots, and your Rocky Raccoon surrogates right now saying that there must be some other reason that the credit union denied these black people. There must be some kind of income gap problem. Yeah, stand by.
The data also shows Navy Federal was more than twice as likely to deny black mortgage applicants than white ones, even when different variables, including income, debt, property value, and down payment percentage, were the same.
So, I'll be waiting for you in the comment section. Let's get it.
Navy Federal has some explaining to do. They rejected more than half of their black conventional mortgage applicants, but approved more than 77% of their white applicants. They now have the widest disparity in mortgage approval rates between white and black borrowers of any major lender. If you don't know the significance of Navy Federal Credit Union, they lend to military service members and veterans. The disparity remains even among white and black applicants who had similar incomes and debt-to-income ratios. Notably, Navy Federal approved a slightly higher percentage of applications from white borrowers making less than $62,000 a year than it did of black borrowers making $140,000 a year or more. A deeper statistical analysis performed by CNN found that Black applicants to Navy Federal were more than twice as likely to be denied as white applicants, even when more than a dozen different variables, including income, debt-to-income ratio, property value, down payment percentage, and neighborhood characteristics were the same. Navy Federal has said this analysis is unfair because they didn't take into account credit scores and debt-to-income ratios among some other factors. But now, if we're talking about credit scores and debt-to-income ratios, CNN actually interviewed quite a few different people that were denied through Navy Federal, even though they had high credit scores, they met all the criteria, and when they went to go get a mortgage somewhere else, they were able to. So Navy Federal, how do you explain that? Navy Federal has some explaining to do. They rejected more than half.
I just want to point out that this is happening a lot more than just with this bank, and I just made a video talking about redlining, and for some people it was the first time they heard of it or learned of it. And I just want to point out, yep, it happens today. These guys just recently got exposed. A lot more banks are doing it. A lot of realty agencies and stuff like that, people interconnected with that, a lot of these different industries, even the people who build the houses, a lot of folks are involved in these types of situations that make it unattainable for, you know, Black people to have homes or houses. And when you make that unattainable, you're making a huge facet of, you know, solidifying your wealth in this country unattainable. So as happy as I am that these guys got exposed, bear in mind that a lot of the major banks do the same thing today. Sometimes they're more subtle, so they make sure the disparity isn't so obvious, but especially when it came to PPP loans and other things like it, and the way that that was enforced, you will notice an incredible disparity when it comes to race.
The nation's largest credit union rejected more than half its Black conventional mortgage applicants. You know, I'm not even, you know, at this point, why are we even shocked? Why are we even shocked? Why are we even shocked? And you know what's sad about this is that majority of the people that they deal with, or pretty much all of them, most of them, are military employees, are military people, people who fight for the country. People who decided to take an oath, my husband to be one of them, to be exact, to fight for the country. And instead of, and here's the thing, this is what I hate, they take you through the whole entire process, gathering all your documents, get everything together, show all your money, show everything, to turn around and deny you. And they don't give you no real reason. Don't give you no real reason. It clear in that article it said that the person, a white person making $62,000 will get approved for a loan versus a Black person making $142,000. So you mean to tell me that a Black person can make more money than a white person? Debt to income ratio can probably be straight, everything good, but due to the color of our skin, you gonna deny them? What is going? But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And somebody was saying that, oh, it could be, you know, a lot of this could be dealing with scams. How is a government employee gonna scam the bank? They got, baby, all their credentials is stamped with their logo of whatever branch that they in. You can't. Who finna play around with an LES? If you're in the military, you know what that is. It's like a pay stub. Who finna play around with it? Who gonna go through all that trouble to scam the bank to get a house? Baby, you gonna do Fed time, but that's not what this is about. This is some serious statistical data, sorry, I can talk. Okay, that shows, this is just one bank, baby. Y'all proud of this, baby. It's a whole bunch more. Start doing your research. It's a whole bunch more banks who do this. They just have not been exposed to the front line like this. I'm not even surprised though, y'all. This is horrible though. I mean, it is what it is at this point. I don't know. I don't even have enough to say, y'all. But this my news for tonight or today. KCD over and out. Toodles.
So once again, here we are, and we have Navy Federal, who has been caught red-handed denying minority credit applications, right, and approving white men and women for housing, and being caught red-handed. And if you guys look at this article, these numbers are ridiculous to say the least, right? And so here's the thing. These people, credit reporting agencies, banks, they are looking at our addresses and our surnames, and they are collecting data, and they are redlining based off of where we live, what our names are, and how we're using our credit. And so there is a reason why only 1% of Americans have an 850 or better credit score. And that is because only 1% know how to set their profile and use their credit in order to get the 850 or better, right? Even in credit, you guys, and this is why I teach, probably not ethically, and I don't fucking care, but this is why I teach to change your address to a high value neighborhood. My coach taught me that. It was a game changer, right? They're collecting our data, and they are making decisions based off of our data. They are, and they squirm out of it by saying that we don't have to check an ethnicity box on our applications, so they can't possibly be discriminatory. Bullshit. So if you guys want to learn, if you guys have things on your credit, derogatories, student loans, evictions, collections, God, I can't even think right now, bankruptcies, repos, whatever it may be, right? Sweep that shit off of your credit. Start paying your credit cards on your statement date and not your due date. Hold a 3% balance or less from your statement date to your due date. If you guys are trying to build credit fast, use your cards like you use cash. Whatever you are getting at the grocery store, whatever you're paying for gas, swipe your card, your credit card, and then pay it with cash, right? Run that card up and pay it off multiple times in a month. When we get our credit in the 800s and our profile is so strong, you can't deny me credit, right? And I'm not saying that anybody should have to fucking do that. I'm not saying that anybody should have to go above and beyond the basics to get the things that they want or need. But the game is stacked, right? I can't change the world, but I can change how my people play the game. And I can change how we're able to walk into these banks and these credit companies and get approvals instead of denials, right? You can make your credit profile look so strong, they can't tell you no. It's not a logical reason why they could say no on this application. Am I saying that's fair? Absolutely not. But am I saying it's possible to get what you want and secure you and your family? Absolutely.
So the headline reads, the nation's largest credit union rejected more than half its black conventional mortgage applicants. And I don't even have to tell you to guess which credit union because it says it right there. Yes, today we are talking about Navy Federal Credit Union, one of the largest credit unions that caters to minority consumers. Let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes. Navy Federal approved a slightly higher percentage of applications from white borrowers making less than $62,000 a year than it did of black borrowers making $140,000 or more. Let me say this, as a person, a black person with over 7 years of experience within the mortgage industry, I don't know why y'all are surprised. Like, do we not see this headline every year? Let's read together, shall we? Wells Fargo denied well-off borrowers low-interest loans. Is it because they're black? Mortgage denial rate for black borrowers is twice that of overall population. Bank to pay $31 million for avoiding mortgages to minorities. Largest such settlement in U.S. history. If you look at the bottom, this article was dated January 12, 2023. Shall I continue? Banks have always discriminated against black applicants. I've seen it firsthand working in the industry, and during the process of purchasing my own home. See, the FDCPA and the CFPB were created to stop this behavior, but it's clear as day that they have no intentions on doing so. So my best advice to you all is when you apply for a mortgage, for a loan, for a job, do not tell these people that you are black. I don't care what you have to mark. White, 2 races, Manila, vanilla. Just stop telling people that you are black if you're trying to get something financially. Now, don't get me wrong. It honestly shouldn't have to be that way. Like, we can protest everything else, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything because I know how y'all are. Anywho's, you do have the option to bank black, like with Greenwood. Check them out. Have a good day.
And this is why you can't go around screaming, my man, my man, my man, my man, because these men will fucking embarrass you. And by my man, my man, my man, my man, I mean Navy Federal Credit Union. Now, if you haven't seen this report, go ahead and search Google. Google will get you where you need to be. Now, imagine me going around telling everybody how great Navy Federal Credit Union is, and they out here denying qualified black applicants, okay, for less qualified white applicants. Imagine the egg on my face for doing that. I am embarrassed. Navy Federal, which mainly lends to military members and veterans, they have approved 75% of white borrowers who applied for new conventional home purchases in 2022 and less than 50% of black borrowers for the same loan, even though those black borrowers tend to be more qualified or overqualified. And when asked, of course, Navy Federal released this statement, says their commitment to I don't give a fuck and who done it and what for, okay? And it says that this isn't accurate because they base it off a bunch of things like your credit score, your cash for deposits, which if you know, like I know VA doesn't require cash for deposits, but they're talking about conventional loans here. So that's not my life. I don't know that life. But they also refuse to release that information to the public. So you're saying you do other factors and those other factors play a role, but you won't let the public see what those other factors are. It's giving you trying to lie and cover your own ass, but you know. And the killing part is Navy Federal is known for having a lot of minority applicants, like known for it, a lot. And you denied, like, that's crazy. I don't know what to do. You can't even win for losing in this. Welcome to America.
The nation's largest credit union, Navy Federal, rejected more than half its black mortgage applicants. Ironically, I touched on this topic a couple of weeks ago in regards to disparities and inconsistencies in mortgage lending to black folks. So this isn't surprising, but it's still infuriating, and it still needs to be addressed because I'm seeing conversations and comments that are stating things like maybe the black people just did not qualify for the mortgage. And although we would like to blame oppressed people, that just isn't the case. It's the institutions. And I know we don't like to read, so let's read together. So as it states, the disparities remains even among white and black applicants who have similar incomes and debt to income ratios. Okay. Navy Federal approved a slightly higher percentage of applicants from white borrowers making less than $62,000 a year than it did of black folks making $140,000 or more. Do we see this here? And then there's a few people saying, well, I got approved with Navy Federal. And I mean, congratulations. You know, you're part of the 40% that they did approve. But with bad lending practices like this, I can guarantee you that you could have got a better loan, a better approval somewhere else. Then I see comments and conversations like this that's stating, well, I currently got my car loan and credit cards through Navy Federal, no issues. They seem to like loaning me money. And I really need us to understand the difference between an institution loaning you debt, i.e. credit cards and car loans, versus loaning you mortgage, loaning you a loan that allows you to buy assets that could financially move your family forward. Is two different things. Okay. And not only that,
Comments like this is a very individualistic way of thinking, and it does not move the needle forward. Okay, like people think, oh, well, I got this and I did that. However, we are literally talking about statistics of over 50% of Black people being denied access or the rights to access. And we're talking about you being able to get a credit card. And we just have to shift the way that we think as a whole. And I know reading headlines like this can be extremely discouraging, and it can really make you feel like, why should I even try? But I'm telling you, if we have systems and institutions that are systemically trying to stop you from buying or owning where you live, this is even more reason for you to do what you got to do to buy your property, to own your house, to start a foundation for you and your family. So get your credit together, save your coins, and reach out to a professional that can lead you to the right way. Okay? Don't use these headlines as reasons to not get in this game and fight. If anything, this should be a reason for you to own as much as you can own.
Bro, did y'all see that shit with Navy Fed? That shit is crazy, bro. Bro, man, they said that the nation's largest credit union rejected more than half its Black conventional mortgage applicants. Basically, they saying Navy Fed is racist. So apparently, Navy Federal's mortgage application has been significantly declining Black applicants at a higher rate than what they decline white applicants. Even going as far as saying that they decline Black people who are overly qualified for the loan versus white people who are barely scraping by and making that loan or making the requirements to get said loan. That is insane. Said that Navy Fed approved more than 75% of white borrowers who applied for a conventional home purchase mortgage in 2022. Compared to less than 50% of Black borrowers who apply for the same type of loan. I mean, and it also goes to say that, of course, there's always been a racial disparity, but Navy Fed is hitting the highest rate of disparity that they've ever seen, which is a almost 29% point gap in Navy Federal's approval rate. They said one of the notable instances where they approved a white lender for that made $62,000 compared to a Black borrower making $140,000 or more. Like, what? What? And this just goes back to the notion that Black people have to work twice as hard and still probably won't even get anything. And for people that sit here and argue that Black people do not need reparations, right? And that we got to pull ourselves up by the bootstrap. This is just another of millions of examples of where the system just isn't for us. And we got to fight tooth and nail to get anything in this country. White people had a $219 trillion head start from the production and the input known as slavery and the amount of money generated behind slavery and King Cotton. If you ever watched the documentary about King Cotton, it will let you know that white people have had a hell of a head start and that no amount of pulling ourselves up by the bootstrap will ever allow us to catch up to that as Black people. Sorry. But damn, it's crazy, bro. I used to talk about Navy Fed all the time. Like, they're so great. They're so great. And which made me think, I'm like, damn, babe, then when we applied for our first house, the townhouse, we got denied. She was like, yeah. I said, damn. So I was like, damn. I hope when they put this class action lawsuit out, I can get a little bread from them because they sure denied us. Hey, man, but USA, they stand true right now because they deny every goddamn body. But you got your shit got to be tight when you apply for USA shit. And I also read somewhere that people are trying to representatives are trying to say that Navy Fed's loan application system is automated and generated through their AI software or whatever, or pre sorted through that first before it actually gets to a person. While on surface level that may be true, but I was like, damn, even AI racist against Black folk. But they still have to call and explain to you why you got denied. So a person still has to look at that. This is wild, man. This is wild, bro.
To do. They rejected more than half of their Black conventional.
Yes, go and watch her video. Navy Federal Credit Union. has rejected more than half of their Black applicants for loans. They've approved 75% of the white applicants who make $62,000 a year or less, and rejected the Black people who make $140,000 or more. So they'd rather have people make $62,000 a year than over $140,000 a year based on the color of their skin. Good old Navy Federal Credit Union.
The nation's largest credit union rejected more than half its Black mortgage applicants.
One day y'all gonna listen to me, okay? I have been saying the same thing for 18 years. I have been saying the same thing for 18 years. This is why I became a mortgage loan originator. Y'all out here thinking that these people your friend, all right? I'm telling y'all, I have been telling y'all for the longest time. Y'all need to stop playing. Y'all need to fix your credit. You need to make sure that you have money in the bank, okay? We spend the most money, yet we have the least amount of wealth, y'all. It's not all just a Navy Federal problem, y'all. It's not all just a Navy Federal problem. I talk to 10, 15 people a day trying to help people become eligible for home loans. Every day. Every day, this is what I do. But y'all, people think it's a joke out here. It's not a joke. It's not a joke.
Even though this situation is not surprising, it is upsetting because even at this day and age, we still have to go through things like this because of the color of our skin. This is systematic-ism at its best. I love Navy Federal. I bank with them. But I do feel like this is a slap in the face to all of their people of color that bank with them. Because I have a credit card through them. I have a business account through them. I have all of these things through them. And it doesn't matter what I do. If I come to you and say I need a home loan, I can have every accolade. I can have the credit. I can have the payment history. I can have everything that y'all looking for. And just because of the color of my skin, y'all will deny me. And this is just not happening with Navy Federal. It happens with all banks and with all situations. It happens to us. But why are we still going through this in 2023? It makes no sense. Like I said, you can have every bachelor's degree. You can do everything right in their world. You can go to work every day. You can do everything you're supposed to do, but we still get subjected by stuff like this. And like I said, it's not surprising, but it's upsetting, because why are we still being looked upon or looked down upon because of the color of our skin? It makes no sense. Y'all already know what to do. Get in the comments, because this has to stop. Like, systematic-ism has to stop, because as long as we're not talking about it, they can continue to do us like this. Yeah, y'all, I'm mad. I'm frustrated.
So this is all I got from this video, and like she said, we are going to continue speaking about it, because if we don't speak about it, they will think it's okay, it is normal. Was I surprised? I don't know if I was surprised, but I was really very disappointed that something like this is still happening. And I remember that there was a time I talked about some banks that refused Black people to bank with them just because just told them that you can bank with us, you know. So all this is pure redlining and nothing more. And frankly speaking, this happening to this very moment is something that I don't know how I say it, but it's so absurd that till this very moment, I mean, people that look like me cannot get a loan or mortgage, or even when they are qualified to get it, just because they don't look like them and all that. And somebody is making 100 and something K a month, and you would rather not give that person because of this person's skin color, and then give it to the person that makes like 50, 60 a month. And then they tell us that there is not a white palm color privilege. And who says that? I mean, this is really very sad that people really have to go through this. I mean, you know, it's really very crazy that nation's largest credit union rejects more than half its Black conventional mortgage application. Like, why is this still happening? And when Black people talk about reparations, you tell us that it was long ago, that you were not even around when it happened, and that your grandparents or whatever did not own slaves and all that. And then you come out with all these cock and bull stories and all that. Now look at what people are going through in 2023. It's really very sad. Half, according to them, almost more than half of Black people rejected. Why were they rejected? And like one of the women that explained that some of them, they just reject you from your name, from your probably where you live, and so they know how they do it. I mean, it's easy for them to, like, you know, to know that this person is Black and this person is not Black and the rest of it. But how long will this continue happening? Blow this video up, share them, share it, let people talk about it. Because if you don't talk about it, if you let it die off, that is the end of it. I mean, other people will also do something like that. And if you're banking with them, it's time to boycott them. Like, you know, if they are doing something like this, now that it is very obvious, you can see it, why would you stay back with them? Tell them you are leaving because of what they did and all that, so that other banks and other this thing will also learn from it. I mean, this is really sad and crazy at the same time. Let me know what you all think in the comment section, and thank you so much for the support, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.